Junkyard Junkie, back here with another video. Do you want your car looking like the Fast and Furious movies? Or do you just want a little extra flair for your next car meet? Well, in today's video, I'll show you how to install an underglow light kit. You can do this in your own driveway, but I'll be putting this up on the lift to get some better camera angles for you. So let's get started. Okay, now that we got it in the air, I'll be using this cheap little underglow kit you can get off Amazon. So let's get to it. Okay, so let's take a look inside. Inside we have the little power pack, the brains of the operation. You can download the app. You have red for positive, black for negative. You got a built-in fuse protector, which is really nice. And then we have our LED strips that we'll have to untangle. Get a bag of plastic little holders and zip ties. And then another thing for the app. Now when you get this, you can go ahead and get one that has a 12-volt adapter. So you just stick it in your 12-volt and you'll be good to go. I opted for this one. That way I can run my wires the way I want to a toggle. That way I can turn them on and off as I want. But no matter what you do get, go ahead and check it before you do all the work of running it. That way you know it works. So for mine, I'm gonna hook it up to a battery, put red on the positive, black on the negative. If it lights up, we're good to go. If you got the 12-volt outlet, you just plug it into a 12-volt outlet in your car, make sure it works. Then we can get ready for the next step. Okay, so as you can see here, I can touch it to 12-volt and it doesn't turn on, so don't just throw it away or send it back right after that, because you may have to do what I'm doing now, which is connecting to the app. So we will go into pairing mode on the app, and now we will touch them. There we go, you see it blinking. We know the LEDs work now, and it's got a discovery device, but since I'm not leaving it hooked up to the battery like this, we'll do this later. The main thing is you want to know that it works right now. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and untangle all these wires because we're going to have to run everything. So we'll get it laid out, that way we know where everything should be. Okay, so once you get it all unwound, they do a horrible boxing job, but for 20-30 bucks, what do you expect? So you should have one for the side, the driver's side, one for the front, and we got our power box, then for our passenger side, and then for our rear. So let's go put them on. Okay, so looking under here, here's the pinch well. We're going to put it right on the inside of this pinch well right here. Okay, so here's a better shot. I'm going to add it right along there. So this part's easy. We got 3M tape we just peel off and we can stick it. This is a good time to go ahead and prep it down with some alcohol. That way you have a clean mating surface. Pulled off just a little bit of the 3M right now, just to get it good and stuck here. Then we'll finish pulling it off and stick it on down. want to make sure all of that seats really well. Okay, so I wouldn't worry about the wiring too much at the moment. We'll clean all that up, but you will have to take the rest of it. We're going to stick it through just so we can wire it up there later where it won't get snagged on anything. Here's some of it. We'll have to do that for all of it. There we go. Now we're going to have to untangle the wires again. Okay, same thing on this side. We don't want any of the wires getting snagged up, so we're just going to run it back through here. Okay, so we got it all where we can start putting it up. It looks like a rat's nest right now, but we will clean that up. Okay, so for this part, we're actually going to connect it right here instead of to the bumper itself. That way, if we ever decide to change the bumper, or if something was to happen, we get a little accident and need to replace it, it won't mess this up. So once again, we're just going to line it up. And it's a little bit longer than what I actually need. So we'll go ahead and peel half of it away. Go ahead and pull the other half off. There we go. Now we can move back to the passenger side now. Once again, kind of eyeball it where you want it. Just rinse and repeat. Okay, to get to this final one, we will once again just make our way through here so we're not invasive on anything. And we will secure all this up later. But for now, we can go ahead and attach it to the back. Okay, once again, I don't want to actually attach it to the bumper itself. You can if you wish. I choose to go with right here. Okay, once you've got it figured out where you want it, we'll just peel it off and stick it to it. Okay, we have that secured. Okay, now then we want to start thinking about what we're going to do with these wires. I'm going to go up and around this exhaust. Up over the hangers for the exhaust. That way we don't burn it. Just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to take some zip ties that was included in the kit, and we're going to secure it all the way around. I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. Okay, so at this point you just want to get creative. The better you do here, the longer it will last. I'm not too worried about it personally, but those little clips, I'll show you now. These little clips right here, if you really want to go the extra mile, I would go around the wheel well, just boom, 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 boom. That way you have just a clean path to go through. So we got it all wired up. Now we just gotta feed this box up through here. Okay, so if we just look right down through there, we can actually see our wiring right there. So this is the way we're gonna come up through. Okay, that's where some of these little grabbers come in handy. You can extend them out. We'll stick it down through there. Okay, so I went ahead and connected it down there and just pull it straight up, just like that. Okay, so we'll just take a little bit more of this 3M tape. And what we'll do is we'll keep this logo facing up just in case we ever need that code again. But we'll attach it to the back side here. So then we'll just take the back off and we'll put it right on the strut tower. No, put it right beside the strut tower. We'll just make sure we stick it on good. There we go. Now we're good. Okay, so coming in here, we need to get this through the firewall. That way we can hook it up to those outside. So if we look under here. Okay, so most cars, when you come in here, through the firewall, some of the wires will have to be ran out to the engine. And usually you can fit it in there with those. On this one, I'm not going to be able to. But if you look in there, there's a small little indentation where I'll drill out a little hole for the wires to go through. On your car, you may just be able to slip it through with the wiring harness. Okay, so where this will come out on this Mustang, it'd be here, behind this. Most cars, you can actually see where it comes out at in the engine bay. So go ahead and take these off. Now we got two Phillips head up here. Okay, so if we come in here, right here where this leaf's at, there we go. And as we can see, it's right there. It's actually dropped down probably too far now. But let's get our wires ran through here. Okay, so if you look here, I got the wire ran right through there. Looks good. Okay, so coming over here, we got them right here. Now we'll just attach them to this grabber. So there we have our wires right down there. Okay, now we have the wires ran to the outside. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and strip the ends off of these. Strip just a little bit more off of these. I'm sure they're fine the way they are, but okay, so we're just going to go ahead and crimp these. If you buy a butt set, normally you can just get these auto ratcheting perfect crimp tool. Works great. You can solder it or connect it however you like. This is just how I'm doing it. Give it a little pull test. And then we'll do the same for this side. All right, there we go. Okay, so to make this a little bit more of a cleaner look, we'll use Tessa tape. A lot of people use this, even to redo wiring harnesses. A lot of people use this. I love this stuff. So we're going to pull the slack out. Wrap around on itself. Forward, go back, and now we will sit here and just work our way down through it. Now then, doesn't that just look so much better? All the way over to there. Alright, now we're just going to zip tie this up. Okay, so looking in this engine compartment, you really can't tell what we've done, which is the way we want to do it. Okay, so at this point, you're pretty much almost done. If you wanted to cut it off here, you could just take the black and ground it somewhere. And then you could take the red and add it to this fuse. So this is called an add a fuse or whatever. And you'll find a fuse, which over there on your passenger side, you pull that little compartment off. You'll have some fuses right there. When you take the fuse out, you'll put it right there, so both circuits are protected. But for me, I don't want it on all the time whenever I start the car. I only want to turn it on whenever I feel like turning it on. So what we're going to do is we're going to run this wire up under here, through here, and into our center console. I actually 3D printed this toggle switch. That way I can reach in here and toggle it. I also made a base for it as well. I gotta find it. I will also put these 3D files into the description just in case you want them. You want to make them yourself. 3D printing goes really well with designing stuff for your car and modifications. So if you ain't got one, I would consider getting one. But our wire will run all the way to here. It will connect to this, then it will run back and then go to the fuse box. And if you have the 12 volt, once you run it back here, you could just put it right in there. Okay, so the footage I was shooting yesterday didn't come out right. It kept switching to portrait mode. I had to use some of the clips, but I'm just gonna come in and show you what I did. So coming in here, as you can see, we ran the wire out. You want to go around your steering shaft because you don't want it to get tangled up, on any of the pedals or the steering shaft. And then we came around and we zip tied it up there. Came around, ran it behind this bracket right here, and then ran it back behind this bracket. And there's our ground right there. So if you wanted to, you could just ground it and then run it to a add a fuse. I'll show you what that looks like real quick. Hold on. So coming down here to the passenger side, you pull this fuse box off, and right there is where we added a fuse. It will have a butt connector for you to attach your wire to. And then it uses the fuse power to power your device. Okay, so if you grounded it and you went ahead and added a fuse like I did, it should work anytime you turn your car on. If you got one that plugs into a 12-volt outlet, you could just run it the exact same way I ran these wires. Through here, come out through here, and then you have a 12-volt outlet there. Or any car you have, you can just run it to wherever the 12-volt outlet is. I ran mine over here to some rocker switches. That way I didn't have to leave them on all the time. I could turn them on and off as I choose. I 3D printed this base for it to hold it. And I made a plate to go over the bottom down there for this to actually hold in too tight. So if you want those, they'll be in the description of the video. For these toggle switches, I had to run a ground and a power wire to it. So I just ran it through the passenger side there. Okay, so we run the wires behind these two brackets, and we zip tied it to this wire loom, and then we ran it back here to that add a fuse. Okay, so now that we got power and ground to it, now all we gotta do is wait for nighttime and look at the results. Okay, it's not dark just yet, but here's a little preview already, and you can change the color to whatever you want. You can also do these where it automatically changes for you. And this is what it looks like at night. And you can choose between all sorts of different colors. So like if you wanted red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, purple, or just dark blue. Also, this is what the back side looks like. It's just as good. But that's going to do it for this video. If you found this video helpful, please leave me a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.